All right. Well, another Saturday. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. We got a new update in Deep Rock Galactic. So it says Season 02, Rival Escalation. So the rivals first showed up, these robots, in Season 1. Now they got this cool image of them shooting some sort of gun at some sort of crazy robot, which I don't think we've ever seen before, or at least not in the game. So, season event, Rival Signal. Rivals are setting up new communications equipment, which must be shut down. In the all-new Rival Signal season event, you must interrupt the operation of the Rival communications router, hack its antenna nodes, and shut it down before the timer runs out and the entire thing discharges a lethal energy blast. Timing and precision will be of the essence if you want to obtain the data cell. Hordes of rival robots are clustering in the caves, just waiting to spring on anything carrying the Deep Rock Galactic insignia. New enemy, rival Nemesis. ScanCon has been picking up new readings in the caves. Disturbing rumors have started trickling in from the surface. They've unleashed something down there, something specifically designed to lure you in, hunt you down, and terminate you with extreme prejudice. Maybe this. New performance pass. We've doubled the amount of season event bonuses. Oh, yeah. New secondary weapons. Each class is getting a new weapon. And you can pay for cosmetics with this thing instead of credits. It's a new mineral. It's found in the caves of Hoxie's, right? So you get these cosmetics by going and playing the game. You're gonna get this mineral while you play, and then you can make your dwarf look how you want to, right? Yeah, sure. Medical gown. For those dwarves returning unsuccessfully missions, we have finally received a shipment of medical gowns. I don't know if that's actually going to be we got to go look, because you can kill yourself in the space rig here on the game. See this?
Remember to get my clothes washed.
All right. I don't know if I don't think we'll be able to see ourselves unless we come out here. I don't know, like, how if the medical gown is a real thing or not, but you can. So I can't. Well, let me see here. Oh, what's? No, it doesn't look like I'm in a gown. No gown here, unless I was like in a gown before I started moving or something. I'm not seeing any gown. But, over here's where you have the, season terminal. So we're starting the second season. So a brand new cosmetic tree. Ooh, big one. Chest thumper, victory move. Oh, and there's just one for all classes instead of the, separate one for each class. Oh, wow, look at all the things. Bulldog, heavy revolver. Tsubata. These are skins for him or whatever, right? But this is all free. You can do your event bonuses to get these scripts. You can do your season challenges. You know, you get one of these a day. You can hold up to 3. And then you get these sort of bonuses here. Like, you get this stuff for your pickaxe and the weapon stuff. Oh, and a new skin for Bosco. Icy paint job for Bosco. Bosco framework. Wow, look at that. Nice. I'm interested in that. And this is all free, right? So if you look up here, there's like the rival weapons pack. So I believe, I don't know if this is, I think this is the new one, right? So it's like, they put out a new season, they have new enemies, they have new cosmetics, they have this new little sort of progression system that you can do, and it's all free. And if you want to give them some money, you can get this special weapon pack for $5. It's $5.59 right now. It's 30% off. So it's like, yeah, you can give them $5 if you think that they've made a good contribution to the game. Pontic, how's it going? A hella stream, hella epic stream. Ando, cool guy. Jeez. But yeah, so new update for Deep Rock Galactic, and it's free. So for you guys who haven't been playing, this is a good one to jump in on. Obviously, we do have new weapons. So with the last update, we got weapons, primary weapons, right? Now we get new secondary weapons, like this Arms Core Coil gun. As an interplanetary mining conglomerate, DRG believes our employees should have access to a diverse array of the very best tools, which to accomplish the tasks set before them. Through your hard work and diligent efforts, you have been deemed a likely candidate for an upgrade to your weapons license. Completion reward. Wow. A hand-carryable, fully-fledged railgun system. It fires tungsten spheres with enough force to punch clean through solid rock and turn the air around its trajectory burning hot. Only limit to this pocket-sized war crime is the battery pack, which is sizable. You have the Palette Wave Cooker. An ingenious mix of lab equipment and kitchen utensils. The wave cooker does exactly what its name applies, pointing at something organic and watch it cook from the insides out until it bursts into a gout of vicious fluids. Recipe book not included, so this is a like deconstructed microwave. So obviously, the one problem will be that one side of your glyphid's super hot and the other side of the glyphid's super cold, but that's fine, it'll still kill it. Shard diffractor. To keep it from detonating like 1,000 pounds of TNT, the shard diffractor is limited to short controlled bursts, but don't let that depress you. It's powered by a 12-pound chunk of Amaran Heartstone. You remember we've mined a lot of those. And is able to vomit forth thick beams of raw energy, reducing anything in its path to a mound of cinders. Huh. Then you have the Nishanka Bolt Shark X80. Modern crossbow designed for large game and built especially to fire a wide selection of customized bolts. Electric bolts, fire bolts, triple bolts, bolts that make the enemies blow up. You name it. A fresh, deadly spin on the tried and tested classic. And you still have the weekly core hunt. You also have this. This is going to be a new mission just for the new season. This assignment cannot be aborted when first started, so you got to go through it to completion. You get credits, crafting minerals, brewing ingredients. That's for beers at the bar. Overclock, cosmetic, and 2 blank matrix cores. Victorian says he's playing Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail. It's pretty awesome. These games are historically accurate enough that they could be used as a teaching tool. That's interesting. I haven't played that. Academic Agent is fighting with weebs, apparently. I haven't been keeping up to date on the latest conflict. Pontic says, I still haven't seen... I'm not sure what you're typing out there. I haven't seen your Tell Me Why Stream embargo. Okay, well, I want to go with the railgun. Let's solo 3, and I'm on driller.
Time to leave.
I can get through this pretty quick.
Rock and roll and stone.
Oh man. Sean Cat says diversity is our strength. Oh well, yeah. That's the modern mantra right? You gotta repeat 5 of those. You know, if you're feeling ill, just give me 5 diversities or strengths. Turn around 3 times in the mirror and close your eyes. And that's when George Floyd comes back to life and heals you. Oh, wow. That was some really crazy frame drop just there. Sean says, shooting space monsters with a railgun in a self-defense situation. Well, exactly. It's a self-defense situation.
This is a simple mining mission. Deposit your quota of morkite into the mule.
You see that Mr. Self-Defense Situation got banned from Twitter? In fact, I heard something weird here. You hear that, Bosco?
For those about to rock and stone, we salute you.
But, I'm hearing something digging. I don't know if you can hear that. I hear digging, and I hear some sort of robot thing. Let me make sure I have a path back. Uh-oh. I just heard, look what I found. It sounds like a dwarf. But not, there's not, something not right about that dwarf. Oh my goodness.
I like the sound of that.
Look at this. There's something coming up right beneath here. Hey! Who the heck's down there? Oh my god. Magma says Sam Hyde was banned. Yes, the Sam Hyde was banned off Twitter. And I believe so was like a few other people, like Philosophicat or Philosophicat, that's her name. And a few other people there. So there you go. So this is the thing. Oh my god. It's playing those dwarf noises to lure us in. And it's now attacking. So I don't know how this fight's supposed to work. Whoa. Yeah, so do you just die once you get in this spot? Because that's what it looks like. Yeah. I'm guessing you have to just maintain a ton of distance. I mean, obviously at this rate I'm gonna lose. Because that was Bosco's last revive.
Explosives, boys.
Oh yeah, you can hear he's using the dwarf voice to say need help. And rescue me.
I got the rifle Nemesis.
Well, we got that. Uh-oh. 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 Everything's blowing up. Jeez. Whoa. Well, that was something. Wasn't it supposed to give a core of some sort? That was a big hole I fell down through. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It looks like Amy, right? Amy Therese was banned. It seems to me that we've got a bit of a purge. So for anyone who's been following, Twitter was purchased or is nearly purchased, or, you know, like Musk is obtained or is obtaining Twitter, and it is for sure or basically done or something, right? I don't know about the actual legal method for that stuff to be transferred, but let's get rid of all this. Here's the new mineral they added to the game. This is so you can buy cosmetics. But it seems to me like, oh, so if you've looked at Musk's profile and what he's been tweeting, he's basically been saying something to the effect of, yo, we need free speech. we should be considering Twitter to be a modern public square. This is the sort of thing I talked about in my video, Free Speech is Good. And, like, the health of our society is in part determined by the ability for people to speak, right? He's saying stuff like that. So he wants free speech. Now, obviously, Twitter has been largely a force for not free speech, but controlled speech, controlled in certain ways, right? Various types of right-wingers, various sort of white positive people, Jared Taylor, American Renaissance, this was all removed from Twitter, right? And like the people at Twitter who are working at Twitter, right? Some of them likely have quite a bit of bias for all this to take place the way it has. And they're worried that Musk is going to come in and, you know, allow those people to speak again. I mean, Jared Taylor might be able to have a voice, have a Twitter account again, and reach out to people with his message, you know. And they're freaking out about that on Twitter enough where they're saying, like, okay, we might lose our ability to censor people in the future. So let's quick get some of these people banned, right? Let's get some of these people banned now. They will, like, if Musk is able to come in and push his sort of his free speech desire, right? Then those people will still have, like, lengthy appeal processes that they have to go through. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people, like, I assume when you ban someone on Twitter, there's probably internal notes, right? There's, like, a case file related to the now banned account. Because after all, that account still exists, it's just permanently suspended, right? And there's probably, like, notes left by the moderation team saying something to the effect of why they were banned and what date the decision was made by who, right? Well, if what I'm expecting to be correct is correct, and they're trying to get a few bans through while they think they still can, they might choose, I have no evidence of this, but this is what I expect, they might choose to falsify the internal documentation, right? So it'll say something like, you know, the people who you're seeing getting banned sort of all at once right now, they'll have notes on why. Some of those notes could be correct, some of those notes might not be correct. They might say, well, this person's banned for medical misinformation. Whether they actually posted any medical information might be ephemeral. They might say, hey, this person's banned for revenge porn or child pornography. Whether or not they did that might be ephemeral, but it might be enough to slow down reinstatement of those people, right? If a new sort of thing takes place, a new moderation plan, if you will. The new team following the new rules, or the same team following the new rules. What the heck is that? Might not be able to get these people reinstated in a quick way.
Team Rock seriously need to invest in some better equipment.
Poetic. Velman says, what is intersex? Well, I'm not gonna get into that. But how's it going? Velman's on Twitch, by the way, for any of you who don't know. Sean says Amy is a self-described former leftist who made some good points. Wasn't really a post-leftist, but something else. Yeah, she made some good points, but I don't really trust her. You know what I mean. Sean Cat says Borzoi. Is that Borzoi? That's a dog. That's a dog breed, right? Made a new account, was banned in 5 minutes. Piers says Boyzori, Spectre, and Warren all got banned from Twitter. Yeah, well, the way I figure it, this is probably a decent time to lay low on Twitter, right? Like, not post anything. If Musk is able to get his sort of moderation team desires fulfilled and we get more free speech, then that'll be the day to start posting more. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like because the moderation team might be trying to get their last few bans in now, I wouldn't post anything spicy really right now, that's for sure. Like your average conservative boomer memes, like those are as spicy as you want to get. He's named after the dog breed. Oh, okay. I guess I don't know who that is then. When I think of Borzoi, I think of all the, there's a lot of images where the Borzoi says, fellow golden retrievers, we need to let in the pit bulls. Uh-oh. What's this? Okay. Another antenna node. So this looks to be the new thing. Maybe around here. Oh. There it is. Communications router. So you've got antenna nodes all over the place. You've got this communications router. It says disable array to hold. I can hold E to disable array. I'm guessing I call down Haxi, a hacking robot, at some point. Pontic says he doesn't trust Musk, and I wouldn't. You know, it's like I am hopeful that good things could take place because Musk desires to do what he does. You know, as far as like, whoa, well, Musk is our guy. Like, no, he's not. Just consider for the fact that in the country that Musk was born in, people who look like him are being killed in large numbers. He doesn't talk about that much, does he? So, listen, I'm not saying he's a terrible guy or whatever, but he's not. He's certainly, like, some people will sometimes see someone like vaguely counter signal like mainstream liberals, unquote, you know, like someone will, like, I don't know, insult Nancy Pelosi and then they're like, oh my god, they must believe all the same things as me. It's like, what? No. They probably don't. Although the leftists often think that too. It's like, you know, anyone who says anything bad about AOC or Nancy Pelosi, I mean, they all, well, then you want to, I don't know, do terrible things, this or that. You want to torture trans children, then. Or whatever it is that they're saying. But yeah, so, like, I don't think any of us should have any sort of inflated expectations along what Musk might do with his power, right? I expect he... And, like, okay, you have the German official say something to the effect of, hey, well, you have to follow EU guidelines about what's hateful speech, and you have to moderate it the way we want it moderated, or you can be fined in the EU and then even have your service turned off in the EU, right? Like, do I expect... I mean, it's possible, but do I expect Musk to be such a free speech supporter that he tells the EU, hey, go ahead, like, we won't pay your fines, but go ahead and just ban us, because, you know, I'm not going to censor everybody. Like, is he going to do that? Like, I don't anticipate Musk supporting, like, he says he's a free speech absolutist. He's also the leader of an organization that's, like, supposed to make money, right? I expect him to, at most, be as free speech absolutist as he can, but while still remaining true to, or remaining compliant with the laws sort of dominant across the West, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, have a good one, Magnificent. Or Magnific. Have a good night. We know where Ando's, we know where Ando's priorities lie. So I was curious to see if I hit these with the goo, if I would start something crazy, but apparently not, so that's good. Good to know. Slot says, the fact anti-whites believe that they're heretical, and then sympathetics automatically think the same. It shows they're in the same anti-white narrative. I'm having a hard time following that. I mean, there's always some sort of stream delay, so that I'm not exactly sure what I had said to prompt that. Point. That didn't do much. After this wave, I'm gonna try out the new thing.
Incoming enemies is practically eradicated, and you're still alive. Well done. Supply pod launched.
You can get it?
Stand your ground. Give no quarter.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard him say that before.
Resupply pod is here.
How about that, Bosco? Ah, look at that. Pickaxe the bags right off of that goo bomber.
Getting supplies.
All right. Let's get this, and let's try this. Let's see what happens. I think I'm going to have... You see, leading out of this router, communications router, you have all these cables going to these antenna nodes. I think I'm going to have to do something with the antenna nodes. Oh, so I banged up one of the corners. Bang up that one. Here's the third one.
We're reading a huge energy spike on our sensors. Deactivate the comms router before it self-destructs and kills everything in the area.
Okay, disable antenna nodes. How do I do that?
Things about to go boom.
Okay, I don't shoot him, I guess. What do I do? What's this one? This one's glowing. Well, this one's glowing now. Do I have to go to the glowing one? Disable node. Hack. Oh. I gotta go here? And then that? And then, okay, so I got one.
Let's hack the next antenna.
Okay. And then here we go. So we're just going, nope, here. Oop. 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 And now what? Is it done?
Whoops.
I'm not sure what I'm doing at that phase.
Hack it.
Active antenna. Okay, so first... Oh, I gotta look... I don't see anything. There we go. And then there's that, and then I don't know what I'm supposed to be clicking on now. Like, I don't see anything visually. Oh, is this the cable? Is it pointing me to the correct one? This one's a little confusing here.
All right.
Oh,
Stay
it
calm.
changed. So in the upper left, you can see it's rotating between the different antenna nodes, right? So we're halfway till it stops and goes to the next one, so I'm just gonna chill in this room, like, because this one's gonna go away in a couple seconds. You can see the countdown. Okay, now it's a new one. Now it's this one. Okay, I don't see any. Okay, there we go. And then here. And now I'm not sure what it wants. What do you want me to do? Okay, hit the blue one now. I don't know why it's taking so long for it to come up, right? Like, it's pointing me which of the wires it wants me to do, but it takes like 5 or 6 seconds before it points up the wire it wants me to get. Like, let's go to this one. Like, it's not telling me which wire. Okay, now it does. Now it's... Yeah. This is a little, Oh, this one's the one a million miles away. So I'm not going to reach it in time. I might die to this. Let me, see what happens here.
Quick reminder, I advise that you be at good distance from the router once it blows. And it's about to.
Oh, okay.
Close call there. Pleased that you're still alive. The mission can continue.
Well, there you go. I wasn't able to do it. Like, I don't know if you saw that. So there was 2 wires, and I'd sort of click around, and then it would point me to one of the 2 wires at one of the ends, right? There's 4 places the wire connects, and then it would finally point to one of them. But it didn't do that right away. Yeah, it took forever for it to do it, honestly. Yeah, so I was only able to get one thing.
Drop pod inbound. Stand clear.
Grabbing ammo.
Do you know the new anime, Spy X Family? No? Let me see here. Going this way, huh? Right off the bat, the bad guys are revealed to be right-wing extremists who commit terrorist acts, and their leader reminds me of a certain Austrian artist. Oh, I'm not surprised. You know, I saw one thing today. I saw a promotion for a new... I don't know if it's new. I saw a promotion for a show. One of the things you'll hear from some of us on the right, including me, is some amount of praise and admiration for Japan, right? I've spent time over there, love the Japanese people. It's great. Country's nice, safe. You know, 6-year-old children are riding the city bus alone. They're jumping on the train, right? It's great. I mean, it's not perfect. You know, crushingly low, you know, fertility rates, there's problems, right? It is not perfect. But there is things that are present in terms of a high level of safety and trust that aren't present across an increasing amount of the West, right? So one of the things you're seeing, I feel like, a little bit more is the left feeling like they need to argue against the narrative. The left, the anti-whites, the people who are pushing against the notion that, you know, a sort of a homogenous community with a single biospirit is a good thing, right? They got to push back against that. And I saw a promotion for a television show or something about talking about crime in Tokyo. And they're like, in the promotion, they had a character say something to the effect of like, oh, there's no murder in Japan, or something like that. You know, sort of setting up a sort of straw man, a sort of extreme form of the view that Japan is a safe place, right? And the idea is, the show is sort of deconstructing that sort of naive notion that Japan is safe, because actually there's really evil, terrible things happening to people all over, right? So, I think that's gonna come out at some point. Again, I don't watch this stuff. I just saw a promotion for it today, so I'm like, ah, great. You know, I have my video where I'm, say, like, am I jealous of Japan? And I talk about there are certain nice things, but... And I've talked about on stream, and I released a sort of a stream highlight where I talked about, like, if you had mass immigration of white people into nice areas of Japan and whatnot, you would get ethnic conflict that would come up, right? It's just a nature of biospiritual difference. You know, it's not pointing the finger at anyone and saying that they're bad or they're not good enough. It's the fact that we're different. You know, different groups of people, if pushed together, will have some amount of conflict with each other. It's just that.
Good job. You're making good progress
on... Mr. Gladius says the only anime worth watching at this point is Angel Cop. Never heard of it. The villains are literally commies, and at the end, in the end, it is revealed the hand of the... really interesting. The only you know what I've been watching for anime? I've been watching, there's an account on YouTube. I'm actually going to bring it up because it's really, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to show you this account that you could watch because this is really great. Bring it up on this. Whoops. Oh, Piers says, are you talking about the series Tokyo Vice? That quote is, there's no murder in Japan, which is a crime drama. Right. And it might be a crime drama, but the fact is that people are walking around with signs from Harry Potter at protests, right? Like, the narratives people hear, even from what we know is, like, supposed to be fiction, like, still impacts our psyche, right? This is something... even what's it called? Socrates and Adamantus talked about in The Republic about how the stories, like, should anyone be able to come in and just tell stories about everything, because it could be sort of like a harmful thing to your society for people to bring in these sort of false stories or stories of cowardice and all this stuff. And they ultimately came to the conclusion that you should not allow just any storyteller to come in, and only approved stories should be able to be told. Here you go. Here's the YouTube channel. Have you seen this? Bink Bonk. So he's been releasing these videos for a while now. Right now he says, I've shortened Dragon Ball Z's 13th episode down to about a minute. Right? So this one is minute 40, minute 30, minute 40. This one's less than 20 seconds. He's doing Dragon Ball Z now, and before this he did Dragon Ball GT, and before, like, he's uploading one episode shortened to 1 minute, like, every day. So it took him a couple months to get through Dragon Ball GT because there was like 70 episodes or something. Yeah. 64 episodes, so it took him just over 2 months to do that. And before that, the entire Dragon Ball series, which was 153 episodes, right? So this is the anime I've been watching. Every day I watch my 1 to 2, like my half a minute to a 2 minute clip on Binkbonk's channel. Oh, look at that one. There's Bulma. There's Bulma again. Crazy Bulma. So, yeah. That's what I recommend. If you want to watch anime, here you go. About a minute or two a day. Just subscribe to that guy, Binkbonk. Slot says, just by believing in the safety of homogeneity, that is causing heresy to anti-whiteism. That danger, it's spooky. Right, exactly. So, like, the right, some people on the right are suggesting that, like, you know, multiracial America is more violent than Belgium, in part because of our multiracialism, and that's why Tokyo is probably the least safe place in Japan, because it's also the most multiracial place. There's other big cities, Osaka, Kyoto, Sapporo, right, that are extremely safe. And Tokyo in general is pretty safe, because Tokyo is still pretty homogenous. But the least safe places of Tokyo are probably the most diverse. Oh my god. Oh no. I've got an elimination mission, which I hate, and it's a haunted cave. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Victorian's talking about the Sam Hyde documentary. So in that, iDubbbz said to Sam Hyde, like, oh, you know what our first interaction was, you know, or whatever, how we first met. And Sam says no. And, you know, iDubbbz doesn't believe him. And I don't believe him. And iDubbbz says, you copyright claimed one of my videos, and then you sent me an email saying if I squat 2 plates, then you'll release the copyright claim. And then Sam Hyde just goes, oh, you should have done that. You would have been so much stronger by now. No apology or anything, just like, oh. Why? He said, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? You should have done that. You'd have been so much stronger by now. I'm putting this on Hazard too. I don't care.
Mission selected. Your chariot
Let's do it on
awaits, gentlemen.
Gunner
Move
though.
out.
Just show me what I shoot.
Pontic said Sam trolled him badly. Oh yeah, very badly. I mean, it was very, very interesting to watch that documentary. You know, I'm not one for that kind of stuff. You know, it's not a lot of content for me in that. It's more sort of drama and game playing between people and like this and that. Oh gosh, I did love though, because it was very much the humor that I love. When Sam was in the this what is it called, Sidewinder, with that little oh, you know, Polaris 3-wheeler, and he's talking about whoa, oh, that's the horror. He's talking about fighting a dog, right? The idea was that, like, yeah, a human would win against a dog. Like, if you had to fight a dog, you'd win, right? That being said, the cost of the fight is incredible, right? Like, a dog could, like, you'd beat it, but you wouldn't, like, beat it handily. You'd walk away injured, right? There's a cost to that. And they're having that conversation, and and I remember, you know, Sam just ends the conversation with something like, you know, I'd fight any dog. I'd fight any dog. And I loved that, because that's the type of conversation that I have, you know, like the analyzing the dynamics of a human dog fight. And the I'd fight any dog line. Really funny. That's the kind of humor I enjoy.
Access provided.
Okay, what's it look down there? Oh gosh. This is a big cave. Not looking forward to this. Okay. I might just go ahead and hurry up and start this while the thing's far away. Oh god, it's the twins. What did my character say? Shoot it in the ass? And we'll hit the lacerator a little. Then we gotta hit the arbalist a little. And then the lacerator again. Oh, and then the horror is right on top of me. There's the lacerator. Where's the arbalist? Did I hit the... Yeah, no, we should be good. Oh, yeah, they're healing. I do have some natural light in the cave here, which I appreciate. On these pillars. What are they called? Salt crystals. They're glowing. Just like... Oh my gosh! Giant salt spikes fell from the ceiling and knocked out the lacerator. Good thing I wasn't standing right there. Oh, more salt spikes flying down. Uh-oh. That's the thing hitting me. Okay. And the only reason I can take these hits from the horror is because I'm on Hazard 2. Because I'm not doing Hazard 3 or Hazard 4 horror / elimination. I don't even like the elimination missions. I'm certainly not doing it on a Hazard 4. Then you'd get one shot by the horror. And you'd really have to move better. More than I am. What's this? Oh, this is a thing. Enor Pearl. Molly? Can you beat the horror, please? Can you run faster than the horror? Good night, Pontic. What's the update, says Nero. Well, we did some of the update already. There's new weapons. There's a new secondary weapon for each class. There's a new sort of, gosh, where am I going? Oh, God. There's a new... Oh. I forget. There's a new sort of battle pass thing, right? They have a free battle pass in their game. I might actually see what I can do about when he's down here. I can go over him. So there's a free battle pass, right, for last season. Well, it's a new season now, right? So there's a new free battle pass. They added 4 new weapons. They added a few new events inside the missions. They added a bunch of new cosmetics and taunts and stuff that you get as part of your free battle pass as you play. The only thing they offered that you can pay for is, I think it's a new weapon skin pack. You can buy for like $5 right now. So, again, I feel like it's a pretty decent game company in terms of they don't engage in a lot of anti-consumer practices. There's no loot boxes, for example. It is just, hey, they put a whole bunch of updates in the game. Really fun. It's really good. Oh, by the way, you can give them $5.
Molly,
right?
over here.
You can choose to give them $5 and you get a separate little skin of every weapon. But guess what? You're gonna get a new skin of every weapon no matter what you do. It's just that there is a battle pass sort of exclusive thing, right? There's the pack that everyone gets, and then there's an extra little special pack if you want to pay your $5.
Depositing.
Yeah, I can't do any damage to the horror, unfortunately. Also, I gotta dig through this wall, and the egg's right on the other side. Poke this egg. Poke it open. Here you got the regular dreadnought.
I called for Molly.
I guess I don't need these fossils. I haven't been picking them up anyway. How am I doing on Nitra? I got plenty of Nitra. Will those do decent damage? Oh yeah. Lots of damage on Hazard too. No. Where the heck are you? Bouncing, bouncing. Oh. Woo. And the horror's right here. So, Victorian says he had to go to court to defend myself because I was attacked by 2 Rottweilers. And he defended himself with a gun. The Rottweiler's owners said that the dogs were just defending the owner from Victorian.
Get to cover!
Dogs and animal ownership is interesting, you know. Oh, did you see how fast that went down? That was incredible. One, it's because I'm on hazard 2, but also because this pistol is the bee's knees, as the kids say. I have no idea what the different color cow argument is. And I also don't know what you mean by creationist here. Because I know on my videos or my streams, we've talked about conceptions of soul creation. You know, there's a creationist perspective to souls, and I also know there's like creationist perspective to
Flares recharging.
the earth and evolution and that sort of stuff too. Oh, this is a hive guard. There is no cow level, true. I should look into fighting this guy over here, maybe. Oh, not you. I need to kill your babies first. Then I can fight you. Yeah. I'm just gonna get out of here. Wow. I don't know why this Nitra looked to be almost a different color when I first saw it. Or that's just me. Whoop, 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 whoop. Dodging. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, come on, you. Whoa. Okay. I'm going down. Going down to the bottom here. Bosco, you ready? When he comes over the edge. Is he not coming down? He's just gonna stay up there? Oh my god. That's annoying. Too steep, too steep. Boom. Let me see if I can get out of here. Nope. Don't shoot me. Stop it. I need to get up first. Oh shit. God. Almost got knocked down right at the top. Okay, Bosco, rocket that guy. There you go. Now do it again. Come on, Bosco. Oh, you whip so bad. Can I not bounce on this guy? Okay, I can bounce. Woo. Nero says Embargo is a Scientologist because he freaking loves science. Exactly. That's what that means. You didn't know that? Just so we're all clear, that's exactly what that means. People who love science are Scientologists. Though I probably shouldn't say anything like that as long as all of the social media platforms are feeling especially censor happy. They'll say, well, you got the whole misinformation gal, right? Director of Misinformation something? Misinformation Governance Board, which is like more accurate than they realized. Because that's exactly what they do. They prepare and regulate and establish the misinformation.
We're sending in the drop pod. Head for LZ.
Oh, come on.
Ready to kill some more crates.
Life After Death says people are just different colors.
Grabbing ammo.
Yeah, the only problem is, like... like, one of the easiest ways, in my mind, to deal with that sort of statement is, like... just show them a picture of color swaps. Like, take a person of a certain ethnic group, change the color of their skin, and they still very are much that ethnic group. Or albino Africans. Albino people, right? So think of people who have no melanin or no melanocytes or whatever the ultimate cause of that condition is. And it's still very obvious that there are different ethnies involved, right? And you can tell which who is who, right? So obviously, we're not just different colors. We do like to use color terms as shorthand because it's convenient, it's easy, right? But like, white people aren't white. White people aren't generally even the lightest color people, right? Some in the Far East can have incredibly light skin, much lighter than even your average Norwegian. But, you know, it's really not a color.
Good work. We're pulling you back in. The mule's been successfully retrieved. Make it snappy, team. The drop pod won't hang around forever.
So Mr. Gladius says science is anti-white. And it's like... The problem is... what is science? And, like, who you're talking to and how they're going to interpret that is a big deal. Like, that's not something I'd ever say. I would say that there are a lot of institutions established in what we would call science. And those institutions do have certain members of their institution that are anti-white. And they're allowing their racial animus, their hatred towards white people, to influence their position, right? Especially though your average, like, 20-something or 30-something or even teen sort of nerd, who's like, I freaking love science. On some level, what they think of as science is, like, anything that is a sort of reasonable, rational, empirical exploration of the world is, like, what they're thinking science is. Right? So, if they were to observe a phenomena like the squirrels in their yard and catalog information on that, they had their sort of starting view of what that is, and then they looked at their information, and if their information contradicted their view, they would, you know, change their view. Is that science? In the modern sense of science is something that happens sort of by creating papers, submitting them to peer-reviewed journals, and then getting them published. Obviously, it's not science. But he still is engaging in what you'd consider, like, a careful, empirical exploration of his surroundings, right? Science, insofar as it requires peer review, is something that if there was one person on Earth, science couldn't be done, right? But still, a very reasonable, intelligent exploration of the world could be done. It just wouldn't be science. But they are sometimes thinking of science as completely, completely synonymous with any sort of rational exploration of the world. Yeah, I mean, you could pull... so Slot says if 3D models were made without skin textures, if those models were perfectly accurate, you know, you could tell the difference. Yeah, or if, like, if you were to apply a thin layer of completely opaque paint, like, I don't know, green, to everybody, you would still be able to tell the difference between white men and black women. You would know you would know the difference between black men and black women, white men and black women, black men and white women, black, you'd know, there'd be some groups that are more different than others. You could also go down to individual sort of ethnic groups, right? So if you think of race, I mean, race is fundamentally ancestry, right? Race, what we think of as the biggest branches of human ancestry. Ethnic group is the smaller branches, and sub-ethnic groups is the smallest branches. I mean, like,
What's this? Bullseye!
it could be told who is, whatever, any part, right? Now, whether you could do it, like, most people have enough experience with people to pair out whites from blacks and Asians. Like, to pair those all groups out into separate. Like, they're not gonna confuse the blacks and the Asians. But someone who's not familiar, who's like never been to Asia, doesn't know many Asians, they're gonna have a hard time telling apart Koreans and Japanese. Not because that's not doable. That's very doable. It's very... Once you're familiar enough, it's very easy to tell who's Japanese and who's Korean. But, similarly, if you haven't been to Europe, haven't spent much time there, you certainly, or like, let's say you hardly ever seen white people before, then yeah, I suppose you would have some difficulty telling who's the Frenchman and who's the Irishman, who's the Scandinavian, Swede, or whatever. Elronder says, "We are science. We can't get away from that side of our identity. Yes, at this day and age, it destroys it, but the frustration, Faustian spirit type view on science is part of our race and makes us unique." Piers said he just watched the Tell Me Why game stream. Yeah. That was a wild one. It is very interesting that how boring they made that game. And how snarky they made Tyler. Like, Tyler is surprisingly unfun to be around. Like, he's righteous or whatever, right? Like, you're exposed to that evil white guy, the racist, or no, the guy who says the wrong word to describe Tyler, and Tyler's, got every right to be angry at him or whatever, right? But he's also just like, they made him not likable. Like, you'd have to be very well sort of indoctrinated into all the things about him being special and you having to treat him, or you'd have to treat Tyler with, like, special respect. If you don't have that view already, you're probably gonna hate him. Alright, there should be a cargo crate around here. And there it is. Let's see if I can grab one of these fuel containers. And... oh, come on. Got it. Nero says, a true scholar sciences with his heart. With the heart. Not the brain. Let me see here. You have your brain very developed. Now I ask you to develop your heart. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You know what? Is that disconnected? Let me see if I can just knock it down.
This is fun.
No? It's not disconnected? Son of a... It's connected at the ceiling. Let's grab this stuff here. Did someone just fall from the ceiling? Trying to read chat. I hear bugs crawling out of the woodwork here. Victorian says Tyler's mother was a sweet woman and he murdered her. Doesn't get much more unlikable than that. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly not helping his case. The whole murdering his mom thing. And thinking that she's the bad person for that taking place.
Bosco, what is that?
Bosco.
The drill dozer is under attack.
Defend the drill dozer, you crummy thing. Patrick, how's it going? Oh my gosh, look at that, a new skin. New skin for a new weapon. Okay, let's get that and that, and I might lose a section here. Or maybe not. Okay. Come on, you. And here we go. It got down to 6%, but we got that.
Little body fix. Shield charged and ready.
Okay, let's see here. I wanna just knock that down.
Zip light up.
Oh, nope, nope, nope.
Here we go.
God, Bosco.
We got a fixed Donnie.
I like Bosco. I do.
One to
But he's
destroy.
really useless sometimes.
Die, please.
And grab this. Bam.
Canister fueled and ready. Here I go.
Piers says Tyler's mom had that trans kid book. I think she was murdered because of a misunderstanding, but the game is too boring for me to play and find out,
The dozer goes through
even
oil shell
if
like
it is free in June.
Quick, someone debug the dozer. Down. Now kill the rest of them.
Patrick says, haven't heard of this game before. Looks fun. Co-op? Are you talking about, Tell Me Why? Or are you talking about the game I'm playing right now? The game I'm playing right now, you can go up to 4-player co-op. And it's called Deep Rock Galactic. It's one that I've definitely recommended. So they just released their big sort of Season 2 update. Right now I'm on a mission. I'm going to get another weapon that they just added to the game. And there's sort of a battle pass type deal. You can collect a bunch of new cosmetics this season if you do these missions. And the update, right, like the new battle pass update and the new season, whatever, it's all free, right? The only thing,
This canister is full.
like,
Gotta
you
get it
can
plugged back in.
give them $5 if you want the new weapon skin pack. Just a cosmetic little fun thing.
One fuel canister.
That's all they've ever really done.
The drill dozer
They've
is
added
fueled and ready to go.
new mission types. They've added new
Drill dozer moving.
this and that,
Moving
new
on the
weapons,
line,
new
but
overclocks, new features, new functions. And the only thing they've ever done for monetization is just, oh, by the way, when they're releasing these updates, they'll add in a new little skin pack that you can buy. But still, it seems like the vast majority of the skins they add to the game, they add for free.
Keep the drill
right? And it's just a couple skins here and there that they're like, okay, you can buy this as a pack to help support the developer. Nero says, "Tell Me Why" is a very competitive game. I spent days speedrunning it. Is there a speed run? There probably is for Tell Me Why. We should look at that up. Okay, I think I got all the nitro I need. Yeah. Got the acid spitter. Spitting acid. Now I'm under Doretta. Okay, and the big things here. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. Where the heck did it go? Oh, there it is. Oh.
Doretta could really use an armor upgrade.
I think there's been speedruns for all sorts of games, including games that are like more narrative focused. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some Tell Me Why streams or speedrun categories. Life After Death says that, well, I don't know if I'd watch that speedrun personally. I'd only watch that speedrun if there's like a lot of glitches in the game. Like, you know, maybe it's a 50-second speedrun or something. But if it's like a 5-hour speedrun and there's no glitches and you're just going through the whole story, that seems brutal, because keep in mind, you don't get to skip over dialogue. Not when you hear it for the first time, right? So if someone's creating like a fresh save for a speedrun, like, you gotta go through the whole thing. Again, unless there's like some sort of glitch they can take advantage of. And, you know, there probably is, but then there's also like glitchless speedruns, glitchless categories. A lot of acid spitters here today. Nero says, "Tell me why any percent 1 minute 39 seconds, or is that 1 hour 39 minutes? Oh, 1 hour 39 minutes. Ooh. Ay. I don't know. Why bother?
The drill dozer has broken through the outer shell. So far, so good.
I can put a resupply down here.
Supply pod requisitioned. Launching now.
That seems like a long time for me. Imagine having to learn that speed run. Imagine getting like an hour in and having to reset. Oh man, I'm just imagining speedrunning Life is Strange, and it sounds awful. It sounds really not fun. Mr. A says, "Are we going to see more of that masterpiece on this channel?" We will do a little bit more Life is Strange this upcoming Wednesday, but I believe the free episode is likely to end at some point on the Wednesday. And then we might be done with Don't Nod, like, for a while. So Don't Nod Entertainment, they're the people who made Life is Strange and Tell Me Why, right? Like, most people voted for Tell Me Why, but there was a lot of split on which one they wanted to see. So I figured a good compromise was to play something by the same developer. But I think after a second round of Tell Me Why, I think most people are going to be ready to go and not, like, they're not going to be interested in more Don't Nod Entertainment. Oh my god. Get out of here, Fester Flea.
Praetorian, watch the gas.
Patrick says speedrunning looks impressive on some older games, but he's not interested in it. I feel like you gotta kind of like the game before you want to speedrun it. You know what I mean? Like if you... And I certainly a lot of speedrunners are on the spectrum. But it's like... I feel like if you play a game and you really like it, and then you spend it more, like you've played through it multiple times, and then, you know, one of the things you like to do is learn more about the game. You know, you learn, like, oh, there's a European version, and there's a Japanese version, there's an American version, and this quest text got censored when it went to Brazil for this reason, right? And people like that sort of stuff. The people who like sort of, you know, playing a game, replaying a game, a lot of those people I feel like are gonna like speedrunning, because it's like, it's a whole new realm of knowledge in terms of, like, if you go through a game the way it's intended to be, you learn all the intended stuff, but then when the speedrunners, they're like, oh yeah, well, if you climb on this box, you can jump over this invisible wall to get to the next level quicker. You know, it's like, there's a whole new host of things to learn about your favorite game that you've been replaying for all these years. I feel like for a lot of, like, there's two components, right? There's the understanding, there's the information, and then there's the execution. And I think there's quite a lot of speedrunners who, they may like executing the game, you know, at a high level. It seems to me that just as many like the speedrun and talking with each other people about the game that they like so much, and sort of just learning new things.
The drill dozer served its purpose. The Heartstone is ours. Deposit it and wrap up the mission.
Heartstone secured. Let's head home.
Nicely done.
Nero says, in a parallel timeline, Krogan is the king of speedrunners.
Move your tin ass over here and hurry, please.
It's possible. I don't know what game he'd speedrun, though. Because my impression of him as a gamer... my impression of Krogan's gamer personality is one that he bores more quickly than many other gamers, right? Meaning, like, this is him playing the same thing every day. He gets bored more than many other people, right? Like, some people, they get into Overwatch, they really get into Overwatch, they play Overwatch every day for months, right? Because every day they're trying to work to improve, to be better at the characters that they're working on, or better at the gameplay, better at the game overall. And with Krogan, you know, you're playing, you know, Overwatch with him for a couple weeks, and then he's like, well, can't we play something else? Can't we play Valorant? Can't we play... Oh, did you hear that the new Halo's gonna be a thing? That's free, we could do that, you know. So that side of his personality makes me think he's probably not gonna, like, spend the months and years that people do for speedrunning, right? Life After Death says, what was the first woke game?
Good work.
I don't know. I feel like as long as games have pushed a more narrative design, there's always been the potential, right? Obviously, not a lot of wokeness, or whatever we want to, like anti-whiteism in Asteroids, Centipede, right? Played a lot of Centipede in the day. That's a good one. Missile Command, Pole Position. Those were good games. Now those were video games, kids. Need water here. Uh-oh.
Well done. Your weapon license has been upgraded for the Arms Core Coil gun. Do be careful where you point to that thing. The outer hull isn't in need of more leaks.
There we go. I think this is a gunner gun. Yes, it is. Look at that. Well, let's take a look. So we've got 130 damage, 640 ammo. Charge shot ammo usage is 40, so 40 at a time they're coming out for the charge shot. Charge speed is whatever it starts out at. Reload time, 2.5 seconds. I don't see a ammo usage for non-charge shots. So you can get quite a bit of extra damage. You can get a decent chunk more ammo. You can get better charge speed, quite a bit. More than double. Well, let's put some ammo in it first.
Just the mod I needed.
You can get... Oh wow, you can just keep holding down the button to keep ramping up the damage for the charge shot. Interesting. Okay, you get a sort of more variable control. And you can get a lower reload. Let's try that for a second. The overcharger.
Oh, yeah.
Modifications to the projectile enhance the sonic shockwave, potentially stunning nearby enemies. Projectiles release sonic impulses, scaring away any creatures near the trajectory. So it says trajectory effect. So it's like, if this is a... if it shoots in a line, right? This is stuff that's adjacent to the line, not the impact point. Victorian says Wolfenstein? Like Wolf 3D? I mean... I don't know about that. I never played Atari, really, Mr. A. We'll go with stun.
That's money well spent.
Hey, how's it going, Spencer?
Hell yeah.
We have defense enhancement. Excess energy created from spinning coiled speeds into your armor enhances its protective capabilities. Also, damage resistance while charging. Directing the waste energy forward through some careful modifications, causing a shockwave that hurts enemies. So, like an AoE cone in front of you, probably. Do that one.
Magnificent mod.
Okay. Necrothermal Catalyst. Killing a burning enemy turns them into a large explosion of fire and gore. That seems pretty good. Dilated Injector System. Increasing the amount of injector liquid used on launch causes projectiles to leave behind a wider damage trail. And you can have an energy trail behind the gun. Okay. Let's try this for now.
Mod acquired.
I don't have any overclocks for it yet. Okay. Oh, we can start one of these. We can do the microwave. Oh. Maybe we won't do the microwave. Will it still be eggs if I pick it up again? Oh, it's the eggs again. Oh my god. Never mind. Shard thing. What's the other one? It is the good one. Yes, Ando. It did use the word dilate.
Get on board, team.
Nero says he's going to beat Dark Souls 4, or Dark Souls in 4 minutes. But it's going to be 2 minutes of gameplay at the start, at the end. A 4-hour documentary on the firebombing of Dresden. Oh, it's going to be 2 minutes of gameplay at the start and the end. 4-hour documentary on the firebombing of Dresden in the middle. Yeah. Talking about when Krogan's a speedrunner. Spencer says that a lot of speedrunners are transgender. Well, I feel like it's a thing you can get into. Okay, so if I click it, oh, if I just tap, click, nothing's happening. You can maybe hear that. So you can see it charge up. And if it's not... Whoop. So if I charge, I can hold the charge. Oh, but not that... I can't hold it for that long. Bam. So you see there's that trail it's leaving in the air? That's a damage trail. Bam. So it hits everything in that trail. Right? Because it just goes through. It penetrates, right? So it doesn't matter how many things you hit. Everything on the line gets hit. And you see how this is stunned? It's because it was next to the... well, it was next to the projectile as the projectile flew through the air. So it missed it, but it got close enough. So that one's stunned there. So that's because of the one of the upgrades I have. But you can see you have to reload it every time. There's only a charge shot. There's no regular shots. As far as transgender speedrunners, my impression seems like, well, there's a lot of factors that went into that. For one, it's something you can start doing alone, right? And there's a lot of reasons why trans people might be alone. Prefer to be alone. A lot of anxiety about not wanting to go into public, use public bathrooms and cross-dress, basically. At least for some of them, right? Like, you have the ones who are high anxiety about it and very worried about it, and then you have the other ones who are like, you know, I get to use the ladies' room whenever I want, and you're a bigot if you say no, right? Like, there's those two sort of different groups in what we call the transgender community. Another part of that is, I would assume most of those people are trans women, right? So it's a hobby engaged in very much mostly by young men, right? Young males. And with young male testosterone being at an all-time low. Hey, Bosco.
Yeah! Rock and stone!
I mean, do you see where I'm going with that?
Help me with the minerals here.
If young men are hormonally more feminized than ever, and there's a very popular activity for young men, I don't think it's that surprising to see a lot of young feminized men engaging in this sort of behavior in maybe surprising amounts. Also, I was on a stream a long time ago with an academic agent and Edward Dutton, and he was talking about how, you know, a lot of things got turned on its head in terms of the past is bad, what's bad is good, and you can, like, if you can identify yourself as an oppressed group, that's now a way to climb the social ladder, right? And trans people are considered to be oppressed. So there are status-seeking young males who want to climb the social ladder and have a very easy way, comparatively, way to do it, right? Like, rather than having to build a business or do this or that, they can claim to identify as a thing. And, you know, because, well, academic agent brought up the idea of trans grifters, trans people who he didn't feel like he's been, I don't know, friends with transsexuals for a long time, And then he felt like there was a number of people who were coming in identifying as trans because they saw some sort of gain in that. So Edward Dutton talked about, you know, the idea that becoming oppressed or identifying with an oppressed group has a way to help you climb the social ladder. So a lot of status-seeking young men. And, like, why are young men status-seeking? Well, historically, and even today, status-seeking, men seek status because women seek status in men, right? So, like, if you're a man who's able to obtain status, women are going to want to breed with you. Obviously, we've reached a very awkward point where you may have sterilized yourself with transgender treatments to obtain that status, and no longer, like, breeding don't matter no more, right?
Can't carry anymore.
Like, it's a very awkward situation where you have these primitive mechanisms in humans relating to status seeking as a way to achieve successful mating, and we've been able to construct a situation where status seeking leads to sterilization and therefore not successfully mating. That makes sense. So, I mean, that's one of the factors that's lead, and, like, speed running is, like, there's community building with it, but it's also straight competitive status seeking on some level. Like, there's a leaderboard. Someone is trying to be better than someone else. And not just to be better, but to be openly known as being better. To have a leaderboard where they can sort of assert themselves as the best, right? There is some of that behavior is ultimately motivated deep down sort of biologically by, like, mating needs, right? So there are, like, mating needs in part that has led a lot of young status-seeking men to engage in direct competition with other young status-seeking men on leaderboards. But also there's a way to get ahead socially through transgenderism. Right. So, does that make sense? I mean, personally, I find the whole situation very unfortunate. Like, some of these people, some of these people, if the world was different, they'd be trying to lift the heaviest. They'd be trying to be the biggest, buffest warrior. They'd be trying to do this. They'd be trying to farm the biggest pumpkin, you know? There'll be all sorts of things they're trying to do, but instead they're trying to, like, be the most self-righteous transsexual who can, like, find all the ways in which they're being oppressed to climb the social ladder and speedrun video games. And it's... That's a new voice line, I'm pretty sure. They added new voice lines to this game, too. Let me take a look at some of what you've said in chat. Speedrunning is a hobby, like being an amateur coder, and thus being... Spencer says, in terms of this whole speedrunning transsexual thing, he's interested in it for what reason that is and what type of person does that. Maybe he could ask Aiden Paladin. Well, Aiden Paladin probably got an interesting take on it. She's a smart girl. Life After Death says, in Resident Evil 5, Chris Redfield said some garbage about capitalism, and the BSAA was a UN organization to fight bioterrorism.
Objective completed. Launch controls are active. active and awaiting your input. Let's bring it home, team.
Nero says, I think if something is accessible by virtue of the current status quo... What? I think if something is accessible by virtue of the current status quo, manly men / people with critical minds will get excommunicated. I'm not exactly reassured there. Endo says bullies are low T. I don't know. I feel like they could be. Definitely some of the most vicious bullying you've ever met has probably been from people pretty low T, like women. I mean, there's... I'm not saying, like, women are bad or whatever, but I'm saying, like, we've all known some of those really vicious female bullies who just, like, oh my gosh. It's shocking. Oh, I didn't blow off a sack in one hit? Yeah! But I can knock them both off. Life After Death says, why are they low T? Is it the food? Why is testosterone dropping? Why is testosterone so low? Is it the food? Well, will this do anything? Wow, that did damage. You can shoot oppressors head on with this. Not super fast, but... Bam! Oh, I like this gun. I mean, lack of exercise, overweight. We do know that, for example, adipose tissue, right, fat cells, aren't just storage cells. These aren't just silos for energy. They play an active role in the endocrine system, right? They produce hormones. Fatter men have more estrogen. And I'm pretty sure there's like a causal... We could look it up. But I'm pretty sure there's a causal relationship there where, like, if we made you fat, you'd be higher in estrogen and lower in T. Due to the fact that we literally changed your body composition, right? Also the fact that probably a lot of our higher T guys died in a couple of world wars. That's like a genetic massive sort of thing. Like, there's no like, oh well, we got to eat a different food. Just like probably on some level. Maybe no solution-ish. No immediate solution-ish. Ando says low T men are often more aggressive. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about lower T men being more aggressive. I think there was something about emotional control. High testosterone being the helping with emotional control. This may be coming down to why men accuse women of being like emotionally volatile. They don't have the testosterone to help sort of smooth them out.
Well done. You're getting closer.
Nero says, I have lost on jobs, women's study opportunities, got into fights with friends and family over not being anti-white and neutral on LGBT. At least I get to watch Don't Nod games with you guys. Yeah. Don't worry about it says, you have problems just because you're neutral? Are you exaggerating or are you serious? Well, there's definitely, oh, I mean, so I'll let him answer for himself, but I'll tell you that, like, neutrality is not something that's tolerated by activists, right? You've seen on Twitter and protests, like, white silence is violence. As in, hey, you need to actively be on our side. If you're not actively on our side, you're an enemy, right? The people who call themselves anti-racists, right? These people frequently say things like white silence is violence. they're suggesting that, like, if you're not a... I forget some of the phrases. They basically say something like, if you're not actively opposing it, then you're complicit to it, right? If you say you're not a bigot, but you allow bigotry to continue, then you are basically just as bad as all the bigots, right? You might as well be them, right? That I find that that becomes increasingly common as an idea becomes more widespread. And you could imagine, let's say, Northern Europe 1,000 years ago. You have social pressures around religion, right? So there are times where you had like Scandinavian kings who had become Christian, and most of the people they ruled over were not Christian. They were the old European religions. And at some point, Christianity becomes large enough where there is social pressure on anyone not conforming to Christianity. They don't have to actually be anything in particular. They just, if you're not a Christian, if you're not on board, you're a problem. And this comes down to something we've talked about before, and that's the idea of imposing social costs, right? So right now, if you go to, let's say, many universities... Oh, a really funny example. You guys maybe have seen that Seinfeld show. The Kramer character was going to go on an AIDS walk. And then they're like, okay, well, here's your AIDS ribbon, so you can pin it to your clothes on the walk. And he's like, well, I don't want to wear the ribbon. And they're like, but you have to wear the ribbon. He says, well, that's why I don't want to wear it, right? He doesn't want to wear anything he doesn't have to wear. So he wants to be in the AIDS walk and do the thing. But because he didn't want a ribbon, he didn't want to wear the ribbon, they were really harsh on him. You know, they basically attacked him, right? There are lots of universities that young white men and women are going to where they're told, like, hey, you got to speak out against the evils of white supremacy and how whites are an oppressor class on non-whites and how our presence harms them, and we should be able to have non-white spaces, safe spaces where white people aren't allowed. And if those white people don't endorse it, if they don't sort of put on their AIDS ribbon and say, oh yeah, well, you know, whites are evil and bad, we should get rid of whites, and, you know, whites caused all the problems in the world, then they'll get kicked out. They'll be hounded in some cases. And to a large degree, the right now, the what we call the right, white positive sphere, and vague right-wing people, a lot of times don't impose the social costs, right? Like, if you go to liberal campuses and you say, everyone has a right to their opinion, but we should not have socialized medicine, like, you could be excommunicated. There could be social costs leveraged on you for that sort of statement. Meanwhile, if you go to a lot of small town America and speak to your average sort of white conservative person, if you're like, listen, I think we both have a right to our opinion, but I think socialized healthcare would be a good step for America. And a lot of them, they'll disagree, right? They'll vehemently disagree. And they'll tell you why you're wrong, or they'll tell you why you're dumb, or... But, you know, if you say, well, I can't agree with you, but I respect your opinion, they'll sort of say that back, right? Your average sort of right-winger is not interested and willing to put a social cost on people just for being left, right? There are people in HR departments who might try and stop you from getting hired because you're quote-unquote right-wing, or you have the wrong views on race. But heck, your average, you know, your average dairy farm in the Midwest, like, they're not going to go through that same sort of purity test to make sure that you're right wing. Like, if they find out you're left wing, they'll probably say, well, listen, are you at least willing to do your job? Because they'll allow you to make a living. Like, they believe that even if you have politics that disagree with them, you deserve to be able to make a living and, you know, have a family, all that sort of stuff. And the left just simply doesn't believe that about the right. So what that creates for your average person, you can sort of be friendly-ish to both of those groups by saying left-leaning things. But if you say things that are more neutral, or you refuse to say left-leaning things, or if you go all the way and say right-leaning things, then one of those two groups can shun you. So the only way, like, you lose access to part of our world, and you lose out if you don't say the left-wing things, right? So that's all you have to do as a young person. Like, this is what many young people are faced with, even if they don't fully realize it. It's like, if you say the left-wing things, you can just live your life. All the doors are open, right? You still only might be so smart. You still might have limitations. You're only so, you know, industrious or whatever. But at least you won't be held back by what you said or what you didn't say. Who does not want to wear the ribbon? Exactly.
Come here.
Exactly. Uh-oh. Your average right-wing sort of conservative grandma, you can tell her she's wrong on something, you can disagree with it, and they like to say, like, well, at the end of this long conversation where no one had their mind changed, the conservative sort of grandma will say, well, at least we fixed all the world's problems, or at least we got that figured out, or, you know, it's like, we can rest easy knowing that this issue is now settled, you know? Your average sort of white conservative boomer just likes to have a serious, heartfelt conversation about what they truly believe, and even if they believe that the other person has said abhorrent things, they're largely gonna want to try and shake hands and say, all right, well, I at least, you know, they say, like, I disagree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. How does that quote go? Something like that. So this is the new mineral in the game. Use it for buying cosmetics. Boom. Look at that. Hey, get out of here, Cave Angel. Oh, Cave Angel's getting stunned because he's standing right next to me. Whoa! This thing blew up that I won't say the name of. Cave Angel's back. Let me take a look at the chat reel here. Oh! Okay, we got a couple things. We got the Huli Hoarder. I think I also hear a Betsy somewhere. Patrick says, college is a cultural cesspool these days. I do controls automation on some large campuses, and I see a lot of promoted degenerate behavior. Yeah. Okay, let's get this Huli Hoarder. Bosco.
Fire, please.
Come on, Bosco. Shoot the heck out of it. Boom.
Got it. Huzzah! Rock and stone, the pretty sound of teamwork. I need support.
We did it. That was good. Nero says, my sister was insulting an old right-wing lady in a pretty nasty way. Told her to be more respectful of elders regardless of politics, and she yelled fascist at the top of her lungs and stormed off. Yeah. Uh-oh. Fell back. Glad I have this gun, though.
Pinball game ever.
Spencer says, with me, my grandma... or Spencer says his grandma hated him. And his other grandma loved him, but died when he was really young. I know that, like, one set of my... Oh, so there's the thing. Betsy. One set of my grandparents is a lot older than the other. Well, I mean, one set's dead and the other's half dead.
Swarm headed directly for you.
Look at this. He's on the flower.
Loot bug looted. Rock and stone.
Whoop.
I'm flying.
Oh, this way.
Swarm! I repeat, swarm!
Yeah, well,
It's not the fall
anyway.
that kills you.
Oh,
It's the
Mactera?
sudden stop at the end. Whack-a-mole.
Oh, there goes the Cave Angel. Cave Angel should have a little bit more self-preservation AI, in my mind. He doesn't have to, like, stand next to me right as I'm firing my biggest gun. I also didn't notice we had a Cursite grinder here. Could do this.
Booting up the machinery. Took out a loot bug.
My single remaining grandparent has really bought into all the war propaganda. Big time. I actually had a couple conversations at Easter about the war propaganda. I mean, these are people, some of these people, they didn't care, right? And I'm fine to, like, hey, you don't care, that's fine. But for the people who did have, like, these sort of statements about, like, oh, well,
Dispatch whatever's left.
they ever, like, these people who are like, well, oh, God. How do I want to say this?
Help me with the minerals
Well,
here.
they're going with the Putin is Hitler thing. And I'm just like... And I'm showing them these videos, like, well, here's 2016 or whatever. You have John McCain, you have these NATO people, like John McCain, Lindsey Graham, going to Ukraine and talking about how they want to turn Ukraine into an offensive vector against Russia. Because these people, well, point is, there's like a lot of reasons why all this stuff happened. It didn't just happen out of nowhere. And when the media tells you that someone is a cartoon villain, it's probably not in your best interest to believe the media. All right. Hello, Betsy. All right, Bosco.
Bosco, here.
Oh. Got that. We're nearly there. Charging up. Boom. I wonder if I can just do that.
Bloody stone forever.
Nero says, this war is horrible, but at least a hero like Zelensky is rising from the ashes of it. I assume you're joking. Patrick says, my grandparents are sold like Zelensky is... my grandparents are so sold on this Zelensky hero. Yeah, I mean... Spencer says, my parents don't believe anything unless it comes from the news. Well, that's probably the last place I'd go to. Victorian says, I have grandparents who believe World War has happened so that Christ can come back? Oh. Well, that's something. I don't, like, so for the family members of mine on Easter, like, some of my family watches my YouTube videos, right? Not these streams from playing video games, but they watch my YouTube videos. And I got some, you know, some of them are fans, right, of the stuff I say. So, you know, I'm not saying, like, I'm the leader of my family or some nonsense like that, but, like, I feel like there's some amount of respect for, like, the stuff I say, and, like, I'm not the kind of person who says stuff without thinking, just, like, totally unreasonable nonsense, for the most part. So, I don't know if how much I was able to change people's minds, so to speak, when we were talking about all this nonsense, but I'm pretty sure some people who had believed very mainstream sort of pro-war narratives were maybe of the opinion that maybe it wasn't so clear-cut, at least, you know? Take a look at that. You can play with the...
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Vroom. Look at that.
Bring me the goods.
We'll do the scout. Slot says, quote, yes, the society is corrupt and ran by corporations. What do you mean corporations run the news? Exactly. Yeah.
This bloody bucket was bigger. A lot bigger.
I will grab a resupply here.
Much better.
Nero says, a Polish friend of mine said that to me with a straight face. I don't know what you were referencing. Nero says, why did your family name you Embargo? Well, that's not my real name. No. That would explain that. That's just the name I go by with all my internet friends. Boom. Look at that. I like this new gun. Let's see here. Victorian says, when I talk about this war, I do my best to make as anguished of a facial expression as I communicate how much this war shouldn't be happening. Well, facial expressions hurt. Facial expressions help. What the heck kind of tunnel is this?
Zip line done.
I hate this biome, by the way.
Here I come.
It's very hard for me to see all the Morkite. Oh, that's some. There it is.
Help me mine this.
Oh no! Get out of here, cave leech.
These bugs don't stand a chance against us.
Embargo wouldn't be the worst name, honestly. Your parents could give you. Could have named you Sue.
News team, a swarm of Mecteras have caught your scent. Better prepare yourself.
All right.
Where is that damn tin can?
Contact. Take him out, team.
Uh-oh. More Mectera. With a Brundle. I see the stun's working well, though. Oh, I thought that was going to be more kite.
Be gone!
Don't worry, says, over here, the attitudes Ukrainians shifted from poor little victims to, quote, man, it's really good to be Ukrainian if you lived here before the war, because you get all sorts of privileges and grants. Oh, okay. Just need a little more Morkite. And by a little more, I mean like the half of this still. I'm a little bit bummed that that doesn't one-shot. I mean, this is only Hazard 3. So, on Hazard 4, this is going to do even less damage to bugs, but because bugs will be more tightly condensed, you will hit more. Like, hit a greater number of bugs. I mean, I like this weapon, but I don't know if I'm sold on it. Like, I might just prefer the machine pistol.
Eat it!
Me through here. Spencer says, with me, I remember people even in our circles saying, one second, positive stuff about Trump stopping kidnapping of Japanese people by China, including Jared Taylor, and I was responsible for that. You mean you were responsible for bringing those talking points forward?
I need the mule right here, right now.
Okay, how am I doing? I got... Okay, most of the Morkite now. Just decent chunk more. Patrick says, I'm hoping that all the lying that the media has been caught doing this conflict is a good sign that the media power is diminishing. Oh, I don't think that it is. I mean, the lies that have been spun over the last century, I mean, and people are still believing them. At the end of the day, they need to be less trusted than something else, right? You need an alternative. You need, like, they need to be able to turn on their television sets to something else, right? And so that way, the fact that they don't like the established media structures, they can be like, oh, I prefer this. Because they still want a thing, right? They still want their television news programs and all that. So if there's no alternative, then it can just continue being atrocious, and people will still eat it up, right? So you need the alternative to exist for it to mean any sort of long-term difference, in my view.
I'm doing my part.
Molly!
How much more kite is this? Not enough, huh? Spencer says he spoke with a member of Congress in person, and it was because of a story Red Ice did. They asked me for some help, and I worked on it. Oh, well, there you go. That's good to hear.
Ah, gobble snarks. Think I dropped me bloody keys in there.
Oh, that's a new voice line. Oh, gobble snarks. I dropped my keys in the molly. I like that.
I got the deposit.
That's decent. All right, this is enough Morkite. Now we can be done.
Good work. Objective completed.
Let's get the heck out of here.
Part can be called via the mule. Drop pods on the way. Hang in there.
Patrick says, anything that lowers the trust in the current institutions is good in his book. And, you know, I agree with that. But, like, it is important to know that, like, in a time of crisis, because there will be various crises around health and this and that and war all throughout the coming decades, right? In the time of a crisis, they will turn to whoever is most trusted. Now, if there is a very large, powerful media structure that isn't well trusted, but it's still the only thing that's sort of large and available to fill the gap, then that's who will fill it. They'll be the ones. That'll be the voice. So you gotta have the alternate institutions built to take advantage of the fact that someone else is of a lower trust to the public than you. If the other institutions don't exist, then it's of more questionable utility that the larger institution isn't trusted. Because you can't put yourself in their position. Because that's the whole goal, is to displace them with someone who's better. Not just to have them continue to exist and do their thing forever, right?
Need to get my pickaxe sharpened when we get back.
Don't worry, says where he's at, if you hire a Ukrainian refugee, the employer gets like 6 months worth of wages granted in cash. So some businesses starting firing natives and hiring Ukrainians to make some easy money. I bet. That's an extremely crazy view. Spencer says, yeah, Lana was speaking with independent journalists in Japan, and they asked if anyone could help. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that you were able to help them, because they're good people, right? And the work they do is good stuff. So if you find ways to contribute to that, you know, I'm supportive of that. All right. Well, I think... what was it?
Well done. One mission to go.
I'm glad that Deep Rock Galactic got a new update. It's a new update that adds a bunch of content like weapons, this new battle pass type deal, and it's all for free. I'm glad that there is a developer like them making a fun game that isn't like taking advantage of people with loot boxes, with these sort of pseudo or actual gambling mechanisms that they know intellectually vulnerable people will fall for. This is just free stuff. You know, this is just, they added content to the game, and they're like, hey, by the way, we also added a new weapon pack for $5 if you want to support us. Overall, that's a good thing. But I think that's about it for me today. I shall probably be playing tomorrow. I might have something coming up, but I will probably be playing tomorrow. And for those of you who have this game, make sure you're updated on it. Make sure you install the updates and it's ready to go. Because we'll probably be playing this again tomorrow, but then I'll be grabbing you guys and pulling you in, right? Ando, anyone else who wants to play? KNet. If you have the game, you'll be able to just jump in my lobby and then we'll play it together. But that's about it for me today. Hope you all have a good one. Thanks for what was it again? Thanks for watching. I love you.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome here.